Mangwana ni Mwalelepo Vukenjani, Class Vanave Africa. Welcome to Africa Good Morning. This is your portal into Africa's potent stories. Today, we cover UK visa warnings to Angola, Namibia and DRC. South African Matthew Gruter's Australian visa revoked after attending a neo-Nazi rally. Tanzanian election protests leaving hundreds dead. Comoros deep-sea study revealing thriving sharks, and Goma art exhibition confronting environmental and security challenges. Zimbabwe's current affairs with Talent Gore that will be in the Zimbabwe Report. 19-year-old Inga Citabatwa's EduSignal revolutionizing education, and CAF Awards 2025 nominees also feature. Our correspondents deliver our economic and news updates that is every single day from a separate country. And as I mentioned today, it will be from Zimbabwe. Watch Africa Good Morning on DSTV 285, GOTV 25, ntvafrika.my.na, and NTV Africa on YouTube. That's Africa with a K. My name is Ashwin Betty. Top stories shortly.
Life is unpredictable, and one needs to be protected against any eventuality. Get Santam legal access from as little as 50 Namibian dollars a month for when you find yourself in need of legal representation due to civil cases, criminal prosecution, and family matters such as divorce, child maintenance, and custody. It also covers labor disputes, disciplinary hearings, and unfair dismissal or retrenchment. With Santam Legal Access, you'll receive free legal advice on almost every legal aspect, whether the specific matter is covered by your policy or not. For true peace of mind and legal protection when you need it most, call us on 061 292 8000. Santam. This is freedom.
Let's get into the top stories on Africa Good Morning. The UK Home Office has issued a stark warning to Angola, Namibia and the Democratic Republic of Congo, threatening to withhold visas unless these countries improve cooperation on deporting their nationals. Officials said the sanctions are aimed at encouraging governments to accept the return of criminals and illegal immigrants, citing unacceptably low cooperation and obstructive returns processes. According to the Home Office, thousands of migrants from these nations remain in the UK unlawfully. The statement emphasized that visa restrictions would take effect if there are no improvements in the coming months, and similar measures against other countries are under consideration. Home Secretary Shabana Mahmood underscored the seriousness of the situation to the UK, stating, "My message to foreign governments today is clear. Accept the return of your citizens or lose the privilege of entering our country." The warning reflects ongoing tensions over immigration enforcement and bilateral agreements, placing diplomatic pressure on the three African nations to comply with UK deportation processes or risk facing long-term restrictions affecting citizens seeking entry. Matthew Gruter, a South African who relocated to Australia in 2022, has had his visa revoked after attending a neo-Nazi rally outside the New South Wales Parliament. Gruter appeared in front of roughly 60 men dressed in black at a protest organized by the National Socialist Network, holding a banner demanding the abolition of the Jewish lobby. The event lasted less than 20 minutes, but included participants chanting slogans linked to the Hitler Youth. Australian Home Affairs Minister Tony Burke emphasized that visa holders are guests and warned that those promoting hatred will be expelled. Gruter works as a civil engineer and is reported as a senior member of the neo-Nazi group in New South Wales. The incident reflects an increase in right-wing extremism in Australia, prompting stricter enforcement measures, including making Nazi salutes punishable. The government maintains a firm stance that those inciting hatred cannot remain in Australia, and that revoking visas is a tool to maintain societal safety and uphold public order. Tanzania erupted in violent protests during the recent presidential and parliamentary elections, with footage revealing armed police firing live rounds at demonstrators in Dar es Salaam, Mwanza and Arusha. The unrest beginning in Dar es Salaam in October on the 29th and spreading nationwide was largely fueled by young citizens frustrated with decades of one-party dominance. Opposition leaders faced arrests and candidacy bans, while opposition activists were detained. President Samia Suluhu Hassan ultimately won the election with 98% of votes, yet reports indicate hundreds were killed, many injured and numerous arrested. Verified videos show bodies lying along main roads, some wrapped in white shrouds, while officers chased fleeing crowds and fired indiscriminately. A UN human rights source described at least 500 credible fatalities. The government imposed a near-total internet blackout for several days, suppressing footage. President Samia called for an official investigation and urged leniency towards those detained, the youth that is. Analysts verified multiple videos of police and armed men targeting protesters, confirming use of live ammunition in multiple urban locations. An international science mission exploring the Indian Ocean off Comoros has revealed thriving deep-sea shark populations, signaling the presence of sufficient food sources and functional ecosystems despite climate change and overfishing pressures. Conducted by Necton and Comorian scientists from the research vessel Inga, the expedition used bait cameras to survey areas beyond scuba diving depth, providing baseline data for conservation efforts. Findings highlight opportunities for establishing protected zones to achieve the global 30-30 target of safeguarding 30% of oceans by 2030. Comorian officials note rising sea levels and coral degradation threaten coastal livelihoods. Minister Abubakar Ben Mahmoud cited daily incursions of salt water into homes and farmland. Scientists stressed that local conservation alongside global leadership at COP30 is critical for long-term protection. Observations indicate a lack of predators in shallower waters, emphasizing the fragility of near-surface ecosystems. Experts advocate urgent measures to conserve fish stocks, educate communities on ocean literacy, and curb illegal fishing to sustain future generations. And in Goma, Democratic Republic of Congo, French artist Kabil Blue Valentine collaborates with local creatives in an exhibition titled Chini ya Arde, reflecting pressing environmental and security issues in the region. The collection blends paintings and sculptures exploring climate change, pollution, and the city's volatile security context, including the impact of M23 attacks. Valentine highlights the interconnectedness of human dependence on minerals, oil, and food sources, while a candle installation commemorates Mama Bidule, confined during recent attacks. Congolese artists emphasize their role as mirrors and messengers of Goma's realities, using art to convey social and environmental narratives. Visitors like Manuel Galea hope the exhibition draws international attention to the resilience and initiative present in the community. By merging creativity with advocacy, the show underscores the urgent need for awareness and support in Eastern DRC. The initiative demonstrates how art can communicate critical messages and inspire engagement beyond local audiences while documenting challenges faced by communities in conflict-affected areas. Those have been our top stories on Africa Good Morning. Shortly, we'll be joined by Talent Gore, who's going to be delivering the Zimbabwe Report, which includes Dangote's recent visit to Zimbabwe, amongst other stories, Dangote being Africa's richest man. But first, let's have a look at the weather. right, it's time for us to talk to Talent Gore as she delivers the Zimbabwe Report from Harare. Talent, wamkase.
Africa.
Tamuka hedu. Now, the Dangote Group has sealed a landmark $1 billion investment deal with Zimbabwe, this during Africa's richest man's visit.
Yes, and Nigeria's Dangote Group has signed a transformative investment agreement with the Zimbabwean government, committing at least $1 billion United States dollars to major projects spanning energy, infrastructure, and industrial production. The deal, which is one of the largest private sector commitments in Zimbabwe in recent years, was finalized on 12 November 2026 following a meeting in Harare between Dangote Group founder and CEO Aliko Dangote and President Emmerson Mnangagwa. The wide-ranging investment package includes a major cement plant, extensive power generation facilities, and a large-scale pipeline to transport petroleum products. Dangote confirmed that the pipeline project, which will be over 2,000 kilometers long, will run from Namibia's Walvis Bay through Botswana to Bulawayo. It will be supported by a new fuel store in Walvis Bay aimed at reducing Southern Africa's reliance on fuel imports from Europe and Asia. The deal marks a major boost for the country's economic reform agenda and signals deepening engagements between the Dangote Group and Southern Africa's industrial sector. Well, apparently, that was not the first time that Aliko Dangote was in Zimbabwe. He came in 2015 and in 2018, but nothing major was signed. He never signed any deal with the Zimbabwean government back then. But then this time around, he came and he saw President Emmerson Mnangagwa, and they signed mega deals at the State House. So this is quite a positive news for Zimbabwe itself, because you find out that through this investment or these investments, there will be job creation and a lot will actually happen when it comes to the modernization or even rather the structural development of Zimbabwe itself. So this is quite a big deal which the government signed with Aliko Dangote, because he is going to invest $1 billion United States dollars in Zimbabwe itself. So this is quite huge for the people of Zimbabwe.
All right, Talent, we'll certainly see how all of that transpires. It's one thing to put a pen to paper. It's another thing for the deal to fall through. So we'll see how it all happens. Moving on. Bulawayo, Zimbabwe's second largest city, is warning of a suspected hand, foot, and mouth disease outbreak.
Yes, the city of Bulawayo has issued a public alert and amid reports of a suspected hand, foot, and mouth disease cases, urging residents to heighten hygiene practices and seek medical attention if symptoms appear. In a notice released by the town clerk's office on Thursday, it described hand, foot, and mouth disease as a contagious viral infection that mostly affects children under 5, although adults can also contract it through close contacts. Authorities did not disclose the number of suspected cases, but said monitoring and response measures were underway. Hand, foot, and mouth disease outbreaks have previously been recorded in parts of Zimbabwe, particularly among nursery and primary school children, due to its rapid spread in group environments. But you also find out that there has been a lot of people on social media, not in Bulawayo alone, but across Zimbabwe, who have been reporting that they are noticing symptoms of hand mouth in their children who are below the ages of 5. And also my son, I have a 10-month-old son. A month ago, he also had those symptoms in the hands and in the foot, but the doctors could not determine what it really was, and they could not prescribe medicines for that for those symptoms. They just say that it will go away in the next week or 2 weeks, and it went away. But now a lot of people are reporting that they are suspecting these symptoms within their children. So the doctors themselves, they are just giving children paracetamol. Coming from me, I experienced it. They are just giving children paracetamol, and they were not really sure as to what the disease was. But as of now, the Bulawayo, city of Bulawayo has actually said that these are symptoms of hand, foot and mouth, and people should be very, very cautious with it. But this is not the first time, or rather, it's not just being reported in Bulawayo. There are other cities which are reporting these same symptoms within their children.
Well, we certainly hope that situation can come under control very soon, and children like your own can avert this health risk. Moving on, Talent. Victoria Falls border posts operating hours have been extended to 24 hours, just in time for the holidays.
Yes, the Zimbabwean government has extended operating hours.
All right, it seems like Talent Gore might have had some network interruption there, but she was getting to a story about Victoria Falls border post operating hours extended. In a bid to enhance tourism and cross-border trade, Zimbabwe has extended operating hours at the Victoria Falls border post to 24 hours daily, and Talent Gore is back to give us more on that update.
Yes, the post was previously opened between 6 a.m. and 10 p.m. and a general notice which was released last week declared that the border post, one of Zimbabwe's busiest ports of entry, will now operate around the clock with immediate effects. The move is expected to facilitate tourism, trade, and improve cross-border movement between Zimbabwe and Zambia. The announcement came ahead of Friday's meeting.
All right, so it seems like we're having connectivity issues with regards to Talent, but she has been talking about 24 hours open. Victoria Falls border post. Tourism stakeholders are hailing this move as a game changer for Victoria Falls, a top global bucket list destination allowing flexible access to both Zimbabwean and Zambian sides without curfews, potentially boosting nighttime activities and binational commissions. This move dovetails with Zambia-Zimbabwe collaborations aiming to cut transportation expenses by 40% and elevate Southern Africa's commerce corridor amid rising visitor numbers projected for 2026. We'll certainly be looking forward to that. And in the last story from the Zimbabwe Report, Job Sikala has been freed on bail. Prominent Zimbabwean opposition leader Job Sikala, 53, and his 78-year-old uncle Alexander Tema were released on 10,000 rand bail each by the Pretoria Magistrates Court on November 13 following their arrest for allegedly possessing explosives. Stopped on November 6 in Pretoria, police reportedly found 26 blasting cartridges and 15 fuse connectors in their vehicle during a routine search, leading to charges under South African law. Sikala, a vocal critic of President Emerson Mnangagwa and former Citizens Coalition for Change MP, denied involvement, claiming the items were planted in a politically motivated setup linked to recent Harare bombings. His National Democratic Working Group dismissed the allegations as foul play, vowing legal defense. The case, postponed to February 3, 2026 for investigation, contrasts Sikala's prior 500-day Zimbabwe detention for incitement, which Amnesty International decried as conscience imprisonment. Supporters praise South Africa's independent judiciary, while critics question his exile activities among the diaspora. So those have been all the stories from the Zimbabwe Report. We certainly look forward to more updates from Talent Gore when she returns next week. For now, we're going to take a quick break before we return with the economic news. In a world where politicians promise the moon and deliver potholes, where democracy sometimes arrives in camouflage and ballots often look like formalities, one show dares to laugh with Africa, at Africa, and sometimes for Africa. This is Second Take, your weekly dose of political satire with an African soul and a global edge. From coups disguised as press briefings to ministers moonwalking past accountability, we... At 19, Inga Citabatwa, a South African dropout, founded EduSignal, an AI-driven startup transforming education by identifying students at risk of failure before teachers notice. By analyzing attendance, assessments, participation, and behavior, EduSignal flags early warning signs, enabling tailored interventions. The AI assistant Akili automates administrative tasks, freeing educators to focus on teaching and mentoring. Citabatwa's mission stems from observing brilliant students fail unnoticed and choosing to engineer systems that prevent academic decline. Despite turning down 17 million rands to maintain control, he aims to expand EduSignal's impact beyond South Africa, connecting schools, NGOs, and edtech companies into a real-time intelligence network. Citabatwa frames EduSignal as a rebellion against systemic inefficiency, emphasizing data-driven proactive solutions rather than reactive approaches. We certainly wish him all the best. Let's swing straight into our sport and CAF. Yes, CAF, the footballing body, has announced its nominees for the CAF Football Awards, which are set to take place tomorrow. Player of the Year finalists in the women, we have Sherbaka, Ajibade, and Masoudi, representing Morocco and Nigeria. Player of the Year finalists men, Ashraf Hakimi, Mohamed Salah, Victor Osimhen. That's Morocco, Egypt, and Nigeria represented there. Goalkeeper of the Year for women, it's Rimchi Shiamaka Nadozi and Andile Dlamini of South Africa. Same countries seem to be showing up quite consistently. Goalkeeper of the Year finalists men, Mahmoud Mohamedi, Yassine Bonu, and Ronwen Williams of South Africa as well, with more Morocco representation. National Team of the Year finalists, Morocco under 20, Cape Verde are the national team finalists in this competition. Coach of the Year finalists are Baptista Mohamed Owabi and Walid Regragui. These two are from Morocco, of course, corresponding with the Team of the Year. Young Players of the Year, Tilon Smith, Mama, and Owazane of Morocco are the Young Player of the Year. Interclub Player of the Year finalists Mayele Chibi and Laum Liwoyi. More Morocco representation, but Congo featuring here. And Club of the Year finalists Pyramids FCRC Brekani, as well as Mamelodi Sundowns. We certainly are keeping our fingers crossed for Sandawana here in Southern Africa. Those have been our stories on Africa Good Morning. Thank you for joining us on DSTV 285, GOTV 25, ntvafrika.my.na. and NTV Africa on YouTube. That's Africa with a K. Tomorrow we return as Rorisang Mohojwe delivers the Botswana Report, and as always we bring you the headlines from broader Africa. This has been Africa Good Morning. Swera Zaganaka.